we are, again.
Hi.
With me is iJacob9. He's over there being fired upon by that guy over there. And with him is Swallow707. And Swallow, if you wouldn't mind making it day for us.
Yeah, I will.
I tried taking off my quantum armor. I started getting slaughtered. So I'm going to put this stuff back on.
So here's my plan. Quick introduction. We are playing Tekkit 3. We're playing Tekkit 3.1.2. Time is changing because Enzo is messing with his, what do you call it? Watch of flowing time?
Yep, it's watch of flowing time.
Yeah. We want dawn. And we are here today to look at the... give me a fanfare.
Oh, by the way, Swallow, I'm counteracting your time magic.
Well, quit it.
The latest edition of the Solar Factory. So this is going to be the third, maybe fourth, I've lost count by now, video that we've made of a solar panel factory. And this is based on a design, I think the guy's name is G5. Well, hello. And so my past designs for high voltage solar arrays were all based on really complicated timings, and they were a huge pain. What other introductory stuff do we need to say here? I want to get right into it. If you're watching this video...
Why is there a dirt slab right here?
Yeah, I wanted to know if that dirt slab would grow grass, and as you can see, it can. So here's the first thing I want everybody to see.
Grass slab.
I made this awesome underground layer using a quarry in Tekkit, and it's sort of underwater. And it was really hard. I used a vulcanite amulet to clear out all the water, and that was really complicated and difficult. But the end result was really cool. So I've got these two rubber wood trees, and here's my entrance to my lair. How cool is this? You ready to go in, guys?
Yeah.
Totally.
After you. Oh, delicious. So we go down here. Hi there.
Hi.
And we go in here. And this is what we saw from above. These are, what do they call them? Luminators. And they're a huge pain. But they're kind of cool because this room has no torches in it, which makes me happy. Let's get to the good stuff. Down to the factory. My thanks to Swallow707 for making this awesome spiral staircase.
Swablat?
Yeah.
I may or may not have accidentally right-clicked on my red matter guitar, making your trees be sheared.
Did you really?
I'm sorry. We can replant them.
Let's deal with that later.
Okay.
So here we are in the factory. And it's heinously complicated looking, and I am not going to do a build tutorial on this. I will link to the video from, again, I think the guy calls himself G5, who came up with this amazing design that involves red power and no industrial craft tubes or pumps. It's all red power and filters. So each of these chests, these are...
That'll swallow.
What?
Anyway, these are all energy condensers. This is full of iron. And since somebody just hit me, I can't get in my container. That's awesome, guys. Thanks. So, why don't I just turn this thing on?
Awesome. And over here in this crystal chest, there's a bunch of HV arrays.
Yep.
For some reason, I can access that.
Yeah, that's all right. For our audience, we're running a plugin called Grief Prevention, which we really like. And Grief Prevention in Tekkit mode needs a little bit of help because you have to tell it which particular items are worthy of protection. And the crystal chest is not on that list. I don't think filters are on the list either. So
no,
what do I want to say
filters.
about this? We've got, can I get in here yet? Okay, so I got a bunch of red matter furnaces that supply everything. So the only thing that needs to be replenished is these furnaces, just like the last video. This filter spits out tons and tons and tons of iron. And the cool thing about these red power tubes is that the iron just goes wherever there's room for it. So I'm going to make, as I did last time, I'm going to make a spreadsheet available, and some of you have probably already seen that spreadsheet, that gives you sort of a layout for what this design is. The cheat sheet sort of down here. Underneath all of this equipment are some really scary looking stuff. But the main timer, the only timer, in fact, is this guy right here, which sends a signal every 0.7 seconds. That's as fast as I've been able to tune it. And it goes and it sends the signal to a series of clocks. So I've labeled these all different stations: the alpha station, beta station, gamma, delta. These are all Greek letters, epsilon. And you can see that each one is a multiple of some of the other ones. So alpha, for example, produces...
How come this one's called Poop Nugget?
Yeah, I'll get to that in a second. So alpha produces, among other things, circuits. So if I go upstairs just real quick, we'll see that every 0.7 seconds or so, we're cranking out circuits really fast. And so if I go back downstairs, we'll see that the beta station only fires half as often as the alpha station because of the way this clock is configured. So it gets to a maximum count of 2. The decrement value is 2. I don't have the energy for a detailed tutorial, but as you'll see from G5's video, he offers a download of his example, and you can study that in great detail to see how he did it. So beta happens half as often as alpha, gamma, delta, all the way down to omega, which produces the final product. This is the one that fires every 1024 clocks of this guy over here. And Poop Nuggets is the last one. I had this all planned out, and it was all in the spreadsheet. And as I built it, I realized that Poop Nugget was needed to release high voltage wire or triple insulated gold and iron cable into the machine that makes, what do you call it, high voltage transformers. So the overall design, like I say, is really amazing. It makes a lot of use of covers because, as you see here, I've got 2 filters right next to each other. This filter spitting out copper, and this filter spitting out redstone. And these 2 tubes are right next to each other. And the reason they're not interacting with each other is because we've placed covers right alongside everything. So I've used glass covers to separate tubes and components in the alpha station, and then I have basalt cover to separate alpha station from beta station. So here's alpha, where we make circuits. Here's beta, where we make, I don't know, what do we make here? We make solar panels here, and so on. Gamma, delta. You can sort of see. Well, you can see how amazingly complex it is. This side of the room here, all of these filters and all of these alchemical energy condenser chests, this whole half of the room is all producing MV arrays, which pop out here. So the whole purpose of this side is to produce the MV arrays, and it's done using this automated crafting table Mark II. And you can see a low voltage solar array just went in there. If I wait a second, we'll see another one pop in. And there's another one. And so after 8 of those, it pops out an MV array and sends it over across here to the other side of the room. And the purpose of all of this stuff is to make high voltage transformers. All of this extra work, you can see it's almost as complicated as all of this work to make the MV array. So I got to the point where I was done with this part, the part that makes the MV arrays, and I was like done. I let it sit for a while, and eventually I managed to finish it. And this was a lot of work. The reason, as I probably should have said before, that we had to kind of start over here is that in the last version of Tekkit, there were different recipes for making the MV and HV transformers, but they went and changed it in the latest version and forced us to kind of start over from scratch. But I like this design a great deal. I will try to make a world download available from this. What else should I say about this, you guys?
What are these illuminators? What do they do, and how do they work?
Well,
Also, you should check the crystal chest.
all right. Are you griefing my factory?
Hang on a sec. Don't check it yet.
So the illuminators are sort of interesting. They're also kind of a pain. If I ask the NEI for illuminator, you can see how to make them. And they are made from, whoops, I must be an op. Oops, I didn't mean to take those. By the way, I built all of this without cheating or anything. This is on a server in totally legit mode. But the illuminator takes low voltage power and lights stuff up, which is pretty cool. Should I come and check my chest?
Hang on, hang on, hang on.
What are you doing over here?
Okay, now you can check it.
Hi! That's cute. Okay. I guess I want to show you some of the power infrastructure. You see that green light over here? And you see that other green light over here? I have, as you can imagine, gosh, I should show you my machines so you see what's going on here. Here's the machine that makes the machine blocks. So down here is the crafting table that makes machine blocks, which is really the ultimate building block for the solar panels. And kind of the limiting factor in this and the last version of this factory is how fast can I smelt iron in order to produce those machine blocks which make the building blocks for the solar panels. And here's how fast I do it with 11 overclockers. And you can see that it's just ripping through iron. And I suppose I could add one more and tweak it up just a little bit, but I think between 8 and 12 minutes for a single HV array is probably good enough.
Is 11 overclockers as many as you can have with a certain number of energy storage upgrades?
There is a limit, but I'm not sure what the limit is. I've got 12 in my extractor.
12 overclockers?
Yep. And I think
the energy storage upgrades.
there is just a single energy storage upgrade in this
Wow.
one. And, in the machines that produce stuff at lower frequencies, I have 1 or potentially 0 overclocker upgrades in those because, this entire half of the system making HV transformers is sitting here dormant. It doesn't do very much at all, nearly ever. So anyway, these illuminators, they take LV power, and you can actually peek up here, the floor and the ceiling between my little atrium with all the trees and the workshop. It's 3 levels, and I built in all of this LV glass fiber to light up the illuminators below and the illuminators above. So I'm going to go upstairs, up these awesome stairs that Swallow made. Oh, come on. Up we go. And I'm not going to go there. I want to go over here. Pardon me. And you see the illuminators that are coming out of the floor. And these are all arranged, powered by that arrangement of underground fiber. I thought I might briefly show you the power infrastructure here back in the staff lounge. You remember the 2 rubberwood trees when we started?
Yeah.
We came in through one of them. The other one's over here and is my stealth solar panel area. So I'll approach that from above maybe a little later.
By the way, your mic's cutting out a little bit.
Oh, sweet.
No, it's not.
Must be an internet issue on your side, Swallow. So I've got HV coming out of my high voltage solar arrays that I've made. And HV is coming over this way. By the way, one of the advantages to this particular factory design is you can run it sort of half built or a quarter built or an eighth built. So you don't have to to build your 5 HV solar arrays in order to make it work. You can have an MV array that you made by hand and start building up your capacity and your speed. So here are 3 MFSUs. And you can see that it's charging, and you can see this light is out. I want to quickly rush over. I don't know if I'll get there in time, but I'm going to rush into the workshop area.
You still got time.
All right, cool. You're watching it for me. So I'm going over here. All right, now you see one light is lit and one light is not lit. Tell me when the light is going to light up there, Swallow.
Okay.
So the light on the right is the set of MFSUs that you haven't seen yet. And the one that just lit is the backup set that I was just looking at. So I run this thing, and when it gets to nighttime, this set of MFSUs starts to deplete, but it doesn't deplete to the point where we run out of energy. So I can run this thing day in and day out all night long. And then by the time we get to like 10 or 11 in the morning in game, which is what I suspect it is now, these backup MFSUs are fully charged. As long as it's daytime, let's go outside and look at that tree from the outside. How you doing there, Jacob
I actually
9?
changed it today so I could charge up my mining laser inside of one of your
All
solar
right.
panels.
Cool. I'm almost afraid to look at the tree.
Why?
Because of what you did to it with the guitar, but I don't see any issues. It looks okay.
No, it was a tree inside the atrium.
Oh, really? Okay, well, I could replant those. I'm not too worried about it. So you see here my 5 HV arrays, and they're the ones that feed fiber cable all the way down underground into my awesome underground layer. So let me go back down underneath. What do I want to show them? What else do we want to talk about? They're going to want a total tutorial, like build it brick by brick.
Yeah.
I'm not sure
do that.
I don't think I'm up for it.
You?
So here's my backup. This is the one that sends a redstone signal to that left side green light. And then around here is my primary set of MFSUs. The reason they're stacked like this with 3, and G5, I think he used 5, is that to run all those machines with all those overclockers, one MFSU is not capable of transmitting power in sufficient quantity to allow that to run. So you got to keep stacking these up until you're able to keep those machines running without stalling. It's totally amazing. The stuff you see on the right here, these are MFEs and LV transformers. These are all supplying light power to my luminators because I have this thing about not having to use torches if I can avoid it. So you'll see in the 2 areas that we're working in here, should we go through here? Pardon me. I have almost no torches. I ended up having to put some interdiction torches along the side here, but that's cool. And then that light, that red light over there, that turns red. That lights up if, for any reason, my MFS,
Yeah,
my
your mic
MFE,
is cutting out.
has a problem. So
Your mic is definitely cutting out, so
yeah,
black.
well, it's cutting out for you. I'm sure that our audience is hearing me just fine. I do want to offer a world download, but the trick, I think, if you want to build this, you first have to look at G5's video, and his video stops around here somewhere, because all it does is make solar panels. It makes them really, really quick, but it gives you the basis for a design, and then you can consult the spreadsheet that I constructed that offers a layout that I think is reasonably efficient. I'm sure others could find a way to build this in less space. And so once you, and you really have to understand how all this stuff works. You have to understand how to use covers to prevent these pneumatic tubes from connecting where they shouldn't connect. So you see a little glass cover here between that filter and that tube, because the tube has to go way down here in order to make, in this case, we're making the double insulated gold cable. The double insulated gold cable comes out here, goes into this thing to make MV transformers. The MV transformers pop up and go around here into this machine to make low voltage solar arrays, and you see it goes on and on and on and on. The basic modular design here is we've got source ingredients here with an energy condenser receiving iron
Hey, so Black, there's
from
a
over
bit
here.
here that you missed with the obsidian.
Yeah, I'll take care of it in a second. And the energy condenser feeds the raw material into a filter, and the filter decides how many items per click get sent either to a machine or out to the next ingredient. So in this case, we're sending sticky resin to this extractor that's making stuff. And you can see that this filter is clicking at the same rate as this filter over here. And all that timing is handled by these clocks down here. And you really need to study the download of G5's example to understand how all this works so you can build it yourself. And I think once you do that, and if you want to use my spreadsheet to mimic the design of sort of building it out from just solar panels to the entire thing, then you should be able to do it. All right, what did I miss? Jacob 9, you were telling me about a missing obsidian piece.
Yeah, over here.
Where are you? There you are. Oh yeah, there's 9 pieces of obsidian that are incorrect. I'll have to fix that. I think I want to wrap this up. You know, what you see here are just some basic machines that I used in the process of starting up my workshop. You see here some alloy furnaces that I used to make all the various alloy stuff that I needed, red matter, and not red matter, red alloy wire, and filters and all the timers and clocks. You only need one timer, but these alloy furnaces are cool. And then a whole bunch of these project tables. Project tables are now my favorite way of making stuff because they sort of have chests built in and they're really easy to work with. So I recommend you play with project tables. And somebody dropped a cookie. Did I get it? Yes, I got it. Yum.
Yum, 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 yum.
I think I've said enough about this. We showed the power infrastructure. We showed the basics of how this thing works. I do want to sort of remind you that all of the filters is a basic design principle. Every filter that's connected to an automated crafting table, and these are automated crafting table Mark II. They work quite nicely. So you've got an automated crafting table which receives ingredients directly, and then above each automated crafting table too is a filter. And each filter, every single one that's connected to an automated crafting table, they all point up. And then from up, they go to wherever they need to go. So again, if I was to give you a quick sort of overview of how just a solar panel is made from one to the next, we start with sticky resin. Sticky resin is turned into rubber. Rubber is transmitted here, where it's combined with copper, which comes out of the adjacent one, right? So this one is copper. Copper goes in here and meets up with the rubber in this automated crafting table too to make copper cables. Copper cables come out, up, they come up, and then down and across to this next guy where they meet up with refined iron and redstone. So the refined iron and the redstone come from the next two chests and filters. There's the redstone, there's the refined iron. This is cranking out one refined iron at a time to go and make these circuits. The circuit pops up, pops down, goes into this guy where it meets up with all kinds of other ingredients. And if you look closely, you'll see generators coming in here. You'll see glass coming in here. You'll see some coal being turned into coal dust over there. And you'll see some generators being made over here. Where are my generators being made? You've got batteries over here coming out of that guy. Batteries are being combined with machine blocks. And that's where my generators are being made, right over here. The generators come down and meet up with all that other stuff to produce my solar panels, which pop out every 1.4 seconds. All along here. And they meet up with the LV transformers. And on and on. And on 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 and on.
Do you want to explain what the world anchors are and what they're needed for?
Oh my gosh, yes. So I'm going to bring up my mini map. I had some weird issue where everything went really, the term we use in Oregon is cattywampus. I'm not used to saying that, but there it is. And it was all jacked up. I mean, I would go into one of these and it was not all balanced as you see here. It was like overflowing with rubber and copper, and it was all messed up. And these filters were lit up red because they were jammed. Remind me to get back to what a filter does when it's jammed and why that's a good thing. And I think, I'm not sure, but I think it's because I was wandering around maybe out at the rubberwood trees while I had left this thing on, and I suspect that one chunk got unloaded while the rest of the chunks were loaded and running and causing all kinds of trouble. So what I've done is I've placed a world anchor in each of the many chunks of this factory. And you can see from my mini map at the top right that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, really 7. There are 9 chunks in this room. So each of these chunks has a world anchor in it so that on our Tekkit server, these chunks never get unloaded. And my hope is that while this thing is on, I will not have this problem again. And you can see now it's nighttime. That light is on, meaning those main batteries are happy. That light is off, meaning the secondary batteries are not happy. And by the time it gets to morning again, everything will be happy again. What did I want to say about filters? So the amazing thing about red power tubes and filters is that you can see this thing is red, which means it's jammed. What that means is there is no room in any of these chests for the iron that it's trying to send to them. It's you remember in the last video we used pneumatic tubes with colors so that a particular ingredient would come out and use a shared pneumatic tube network, and then it would go to whatever pipe was colored appropriately. In this case, we're not bothering with that. We're not using any colors at all. We're just saying put iron wherever you can fit it. And all of these chests are jammed full of ingredients. Now, I'll admit this is a bit of a drawback to this design. For example, I have stacks and stacks and stacks of diamonds. and all these chests are full. My response to that particular drawback for this design is if you're in a position to start crafting HV solar arrays, you essentially have unlimited access to materials, raw materials, because you probably have a flower like this that's just ripping out red matter furnaces or something like that. And if you don't have that, you should start with that. So when I turn this thing off, what happens to all the extra iron ingots that are flying around through the supply side? If I was using industrial craft tubes, it would slow the server down. They might eventually pop out. Everybody's had that experience in Tekkit with overloading a machine with too many ingredients, and they just pop out above, and eventually your server crashes, and it really sucks. When I turn this off, all the machines turn off, the clock sequence stops. All these iron ingots, they will do their best to find a home, but if they can't find a home, look what they do. They just back up into the filter. The filter lights up red to indicate an overload condition, and everything's fine. It's totally awesome. And then when I start it up again, bye Jacob, everything's cool. And the iron starts flowing again, and everything's super bitchin'. What happened? You still with us, Jacob?
I'm going to go now. I can barely hear you, and when I can, it's really annoying.
No, I'm sorry to hear that. We're almost done anyway. Swallow, what else should we talk about here?
Let's see. We got cosmetics of everything done. We got the factory talked about.
By the way,
in
terms of the cosmetics, I didn't build all of the brick and everything here from scratch, especially these giant walls. I used the mercurial eye, which is totally awesome. So instead of having to build this entire wall from scratch, I used the mercurial eye to transmute stuff and to make this. So that's, it's also part of Tekkit, and it's really amazing. So you'll definitely need a mercurial eye. Stop it, Jacob. And you'll also, what's the thing? The destruction catalyst. You'll want one of those too. That's really good for mining. All right, everybody. So I'm going to go back upstairs through my grand staircase. And maybe I'll meet you there, Swallow, for one last view of the upper section of this magnificent lair. Hello. And as always, I welcome your comments and ideas and suggestions and whatever. And say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.